good.
Okay, so you should be getting a feed to your Restreamer account.
Ooh. All right. Let's see. Whoa. Yeah, there we go. Live and direct, sending data to LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the internets and the YouTubes and whatnot. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your hostess with the mostess. I'm at CES. I'm sitting in a hotel room. I've got some special guests hiding behind the virtual screen over here that you're going to hear from. You guys, feel free to chime in, y'all. I mean, you can jump on anytime you want. But a little bit of check before everything going. I am live at CES, which yesterday, tons of fun. I got to walk 2 halls. Ooh, look at that. Artifacting. Yeah, this is why we test things. It's chopping up a bit there. Whoa, I look so cool. Whoa. All right, we're losing it. 11.6, 11.5 is what it's showing that bit rate, Ian, there. Maybe it'll simmer down on me here in just a second. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, I'm going to check out LinkedIn on my phone and see if I'm live, because sometimes it shows my wonderful face up at the top of my profile. There I am. Wow, looking good. You know, this is what happens when you forget shaving cream and you come to Las Vegas and you bring a camera that can actually see my little whiskers. That's okay. I'll take it. Anyway, so it's been fun. Yesterday, I got to go walk two show floors, 6 hours of flight delays coming in through Houston. Got to sit around in Houston for a bit. That was very exciting. And then once we finally got on the plane, we landed at 3 a.m. in Vegas. Slept for a couple hours. Woke up, hit the coffee bar, staying at the Fountain Blue, which sat here unused and deconstructed for like 10 years. And finally it's here, and I'm sitting in one of the hotel rooms, and it doesn't even look like it's 10 years old. Oh my goodness, a special delivery. Look at this. Yay. My wife is walking in with coffee for me.
Headphones? I forgot about the headphones.
I do have headphones, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sweet.
Feedback from Dan into the mic.
Here's a croissant in case you need it.
Oh, a croissant in case I need it. Look at that. My only concern with the headphones is that there's a pretty decent delay with OBS. So I got to figure that out.
Just need the headphones for Dan.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, because I'm not in monitor mode. Check this out, y'all. Oh, through the power of the internet. There we go. Let's see. I shouldn't be able... I shan't hear myself here. But Dan, if you talk, I should be able to hear you.
All right. Hey, Drew. How are you doing? How you doing?
Oh, no. That didn't work.
No?
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. Bye, babe. Love you. Let's see here. Select the speaker. There we go. All right, Dan. Try me one more time.
All right. Hey, Drew.
Whoa, you are in my face, dude. That's great. I can hear you. Oh, very cool. So, yeah, man. So Ian, can people see Dan's face, or is he just some voice like the Wizard of Oz?
The man behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain. Well, sweet. Well, Dan, we're gonna have some fun this morning.
Yes.
Let me ask you, man. So I this hotel's pretty cool. The Wi-Fi is decent. However, I am on my phone. I wanted to just go direct LTE on here. And I can't believe the choice of vendor that they used at this hotel. I haven't seen this vendor with a full hotel deployment in quite a long time. I was actually shocked to see their logo on the ceiling. I went, wow, that's been a minute. So that was interesting. But, it's a 15-year-old hotel, so I guess that explains. If you can think about what was great in hotels 10, 15 years ago, that should give you a clue as to what I just saw. But
Do they have the big UFO APs?
no, God, there's still some of those at the Venetian. You go over there in the convention center and you look up and you're like, what is that? Is that a relic from Area 51?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's trying to find the cool guy. Ruckus. I don't care. I'm not. I've got friends everywhere. I'm not worried about it. We're live though, so just it's no smack talk in here. I've got plenty of friends. Oh yeah, we've got 3 viewers on my LinkedIn. We got 200 viewers on X right now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was good to see. I'm not good. I mean, it's just interesting to see them. I haven't seen a full ruckus deployment in a hotel in a while. So, but the hotel's great. The accommodations are very nice. And CES, I got to walk 2 halls yesterday. So, if you've never been to CES and you've never been to Vegas, they have the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it has a South Hall, a Central Hall. Yeah, I see that focus throwing off a little bit. It's got the South Hall, the Central Hall, and the North Hall, and then now it has the West Hall. And the West Hall is basically a car show. It's all of the latest EVs that you can imagine, people carriers. I saw a flying car yesterday, concept. Lots of stuff going on there, and I walked that one first. I usually walk that one last because it's almost the least of my interest. But then the second hall, which is the North Hall, that's where all the IoT is. That's where all the Wi-Fi guys are. That's where we see everything. So I got to see some familiar faces yesterday in there, and I got to see the stuff that I think I'm keenly interested in, like what's coming down the pipe for the majority of people is in that hall. So not fintech is crazy. Fintech used to take over like a quarter of that show floor, and I think there were 4 booths there for fintech, talking about Bitcoin mining and cooling systems and things like that. So yeah, it was weird. It was different.
Nice.
All right, I'm gonna try and lock in my focus so I don't keep getting blurry. So give me a second here. Anyway, feel free. Hey, Ian, feel free to put Dan on the feed. Dan, say hi to all my loyal listeners on all both of them.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Drew. Hey, thanks everyone for having me today. I'm Dan Clamert, and we host a little show called Unplugged. And Drew was gracious enough to have us allow us to join forces today. So really looking forward to talking to Drew live from CES. Something I've always wanted to do is go to the Consumer Electronics Show. Never been there, so really looking forward to this. Maybe we can make this happen next year, but looking forward to living vicariously through you here today and tomorrow, I guess, too.
Yeah, man.
This week, Drew. So thank you.
Yeah. It's you guys are doing such great things over at Unplugged Connectivity. Such a fun. It's man, it's so much information. And I went back and I was watching some of the videos, and there's so many things that you all have covered and talk about on there. And it's really, even just from a general information, non-vendor specific, there's a lot of really good data that you can find on the Unplugged Connectivity.
Yeah,
YouTube
that's
channel.
really the focus first is technology
Yep.
first, and really wireless technology specifically, kind of hence the name Unplugged. And so, our catchphrase is keeping people in tune with the world of Wi-Fi, basically. So, and we started it last year, and early last year, I guess we'll say springtime, and it's surprisingly, it's gotten quite a following, and I think it is due to the content and stuff we're putting out there, and we do it twice a month basically, so every other week, and this is our first week back here of 2024. So really excited to be back and looking forward to bigger, better, and more exciting things here in 2024 for us and you guys as well.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I appreciate you all letting
You get qualified. Hey, you've tuned in to Cisco Unplugged.
And Happy New Year. We're here in 2024, hard to believe already. And welcome back to Cisco Unplugged. And I'm Dan Clamert, your host, once again here. And this week on episode 23, we've got a special, very special crossover episode here. We're doing live with Drew Lentz from CES Las Vegas. So welcome, Drew. How are you doing today?
Woo! I love that guy. He's great. I can't my normal intro. You know, if anyone has ever heard me speak, they know that the first thing I do is I start off any of my presentations with the good old woo! Good old Ric Flair woo. Pop those mics, check those levels. Live from CES. You asked for it, you got it.
And Drew is he's also AKA the wireless nerd from the Waves podcast. So that's the crossover event here. The crossover, as I build it, of event of 2024, Drew. How do you like that?
It is. It's the biggest wireless podcast event of the year so far.
So far, yeah. Asterisks. So far. Small print.
I'm just waiting on security to come bang on my door and tell me to shut up. This is so good.
Well, thank you for being with us this early. I know in Vegas, you're out there. It's this early, so I call that a win already that you're on here this early. So thank you.
You don't understand. I found a tiki bar last night that my wife and I and my business partner went to, and it is, I think it's just called the Tiki Bar. I don't remember what it was called, but it is. If you've never been to this spot, oh my goodness, let me tell you, it is one of the most fun places I have been to in all of Las Vegas. It's off strip. It's in Chinatown. And like free plug for the Tiki Bar, man. It was the Golden Tiki at 3939 Spring Mountain Road in Las Vegas. Make sure you make it out.
We've got our first sponsor here of the day, of the year.
So good. Our biggest sponsor of the year so far.
So, before we get rolling here, for our unplugged viewers, we do, we wanted to come on here during our normal time slot here live, and we do usually do Slidos, which we will this morning have Slido, or today have Slido right now. So if you do have questions and you see this and you want to get those questions in, you can join the Slido, submit those questions. We will also have we're coming back tomorrow since CES is this week. Drew's out there live. And we're going to have another episode, another streaming session tomorrow, a little bit longer. Today, I guess, is more of a teaser episode, just an intro. And then tomorrow, we'll post another session with some more great, exciting content here from CES. So just wanted to, I guess, plug that. If you have a question, get that in. If we don't maybe answer it today, maybe we can chase that down tomorrow. If you've got questions about the Consumer Electronics Show, you've never been there. I know I've never been there. I would love to go, but we'll get into that too. But so again, you can find us, and I'll give Drew a second here to unplug or to plug his show as well. But you can find Unplugged here at youtube.com/@getunplugged. And, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe out there to be notified when we do go live with that content like tomorrow. So you'll be notified when we do go live and see that a little bit more info from CES. So go ahead, Drew. I introduced you already, but tell us a little bit about yourself and Waves.
I'm just a nerd. But I'm in good company, right, with you all, so it's fantastic. I grew up in a small town in South Texas. No, we don't have to go back that far, but
I don't know if we have time for all that.
Yeah. No, I've been involved in the wireless industry in one way, shape, or form since I was about 14, and I've always done great stuff, whether it's operating ham radios and amateur radios, or it's building wireless internet service providers, and so I've done a lot of work in. With product, I was a product manager for a couple of distributors, making sure they had the right mix, and then figuring out how wireless can change people's lives. And that's why I started to come to CES, was to look at what's happening in the industry of consumer electronics and what people are going to be consuming from a technology perspective, and then thinking about, well, how does that affect networks? How does that affect the Wi-Fi that they have at home? How does that affect the Wi-Fi they have at work? How does that, can you do any of this over wireless transmission? Which in 2024, it's a lot of a different landscape than it was before. We were dealing with some pretty choked throughput that we had to figure out how to work. But whether it's wireless internet service providers or Wi-Fi, now I'm in a great space where I have the opportunity to be a part of the Cisco Wireless Product Management team, and I work on our access points and our software and our services, and I help figure out what people are looking for out there in the world, and, in enterprise and in business, and figure out how to adapt our products to make sure that they can take full advantage of everything and get the user experience that they want. So then you think about how CES plays into that, But yeah, the Waves podcast, I started that. I'm about half a year in on it. I've been blogging for quite a while. I've been part of Tech Field Day, Mobility Field Day, huge fan of WLPC. So always a chance to plug WLPC coming up in Phoenix in February. Don't forget. But the Waves podcast, you can find just if you visit wirelessnerd.net. That's where all of my stuff comes together. Wireless Nerd on YouTube, Wireless Nerd on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm putting a lot of content out on Instagram from the show because there's so many pictures, and I feel like X is just more of a, Twitter's more of a text medium. So I post some stuff on there, but a lot more Instagram heavy here at the show. Just because there's so much, and pictures are worth thousands of words, so it's easier for me to snap a photo. But if you want to listen, if you want more information, just follow me on LinkedIn or jump on wirelessnerd.net, and you can see all the different properties that I have. But I'll be out here, like you said, I'm out here till Friday, and I got to walk 2 of the halls yesterday. There's, CES, if you've never been, is just so gargantuan that it takes over so much. And it takes days just to get a glimpse of everything that's here. And so I think, Las Vegas Convention Center has South, Central, and North and West. And then the Sands Expo at the Venetian has 2 floors. And then there's another area. And then so there's 7 convention centers worth of walking. Wow. And they're all just filled to the gills with everything you can imagine. And don't ever discount the groups that are in the corners. I find some of the most impactful things for the people that want to be here but can't afford the big booth. Those are the people that I like to see because they're trying to make a difference in the world. They just don't have the budget to do it. So I love going to the edges of the show and finding out what's happening over there because that's where you see the stuff that really makes you think. So
the hidden gems, maybe. If you
yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, so I guess if you're out there and you're an Unplugged follower on YouTube, you can find Drew out there too, and his Waves out there on YouTube.
Yeah,
so,
come find me.
You didn't mention that, but what is your link out there? Go ahead, plug that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you just find me on LinkedIn, find me on Twitter, on X, get in touch with me in any way. Just look me up on LinkedIn, Drew Lentz. I usually don't accept follow requests unless you put something in there like, hey, this is why I want to connect with you, because you all know it's turned into a little bit of a spam battlefield over the last couple of years. But if you're interested, if you want to meet up, please do. I'm having a fascinating dinner tonight with some IoT folks, and we're going to be talking about IoT, its integration into Meraki, and we're going to be with the Machine Q folks from Comcast and with some folks from the auto manufacturing industry, talking about IoT services in their in their facilities, and so we just sit at a bar and then we just nerd out for a little while. So if you're interested in having that conversation, please reach out. I would love, the more the merrier. Why not?
Yeah, that's great. We are actually getting some questions here already in Slido. So the first one, so other than Drew, is Cisco out at CES this year?
So I've only walked 2 of the hallways and I haven't seen a Cisco booth per se. I don't know if Cisco has a booth. I mean, truth be told, and all my superiors know this, I usually just ask for this time off. Like yesterday was PTO, this afternoon is PTO. I come out here on my own just because because I'm a nerd. But I think there are some Cisco folks out here floating. There's got to be. I mean, it's a huge tech show. We don't just get to come to Vegas for live, but But
Yep.
if I haven't run into any of my coworkers. I think a lot of them are getting ready for NRF that's happening next week in New York City,
Yeah.
and we've got a huge presence there. I'll be at that one also. That's going to be a great show this year.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know who else from Cisco's out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. So there's another question here. We'll get to some questions, I guess, but I guess I have some questions too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how 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 many CESs have you been to?
Oh God,
Like,
this has got to be. So, you know, I think this is 6 or 7 or 8,
okay,
something like that. I mean, it's
okay,
up to. I don't think it's 10 yet.
okay,
No, no, that's not
nice.
true. I am an idiot. I apologize in advance. So here's why. Let me tell you the story, right? My wife and I got married in Vegas on 1/11/11, and the reason
Ah,
we got married at that time was I was already coming out to Vegas for CES. So that
sure.
was in
Okay,
2011, and it's
okay,
2023. So that's at least 12.
okay. Wow, wow. Time flies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then before that, it was probably 6 or 7. That's
Wow. Okay, a bunch. What? Either one. Close. A bunch. Nice.
It's our 13-year anniversary. We're stoked.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's at the
Happy
spa.
anniversary to you.
Thanks. She's
Ah,
like, I'm not going to go to
nice.
CES and walk around with you, nerd. Like, you have fun doing your nerd stuff. I want to
Yeah.
go to the spa and check out the snow. They have a snow shower at the Fontainebleau. So, I don't know what that's about.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It
I've heard of
rains
like the
snow on
cold
them.
room or the ice room, but I haven't heard of the snow showers. So, although we
Snow
have some
shower.
snow showers here in Wisconsin, we had those
Yeah.
yesterday. So we get those for free, though. And then I
Yeah.
gotta clean it up, but I don't have to pay for that, thankfully.
Yeah, man. That's cool. I'll send me $100 then if you don't mind, would you? Uh, But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I've been coming out here for a while, and it's God. I guess I really didn't realize how long it's been, and
Yeah.
and you've seen the show change over time, just like every show. I mean, God, remember Comdex? I mean,
Oh, sure. That's
you've
what I was
seen
going to
all.
ask. Is what do you, I guess, obviously it still excites you to continue to go out there. And what excites you about it, nowadays, or what are you excited about this year, I guess,
Yeah,
in particular?
that's such a great question, and I have my method. I think you can't attack a show like this unless you have a methodology behind it. In my opinion,
Yeah,
live is a great show, but you can get through the live exhibit hall in one day. You know what I mean?
sure. Sure.
When you start talking about these bigger shows that are out here that take over the whole Vegas Convention Center, you have to have
Yeah.
a game plan. And my game plan's always been the same. And I built this when I was blogging a whole lot. Now I've turned a lot more to video instead of the written word, if you will. But what
Sure.
I would do is I would go into the hall, I would take a right, and would start on the 100s, and I would
Yep.
walk every floor up and down, every aisle, every single
Wow.
aisle up and down.
Wow.
And the first day of the show, I would do that. And if there was some left over, the second day, the third day. So I'd still do that. And
Wow.
what happens is I get through the entire show and I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I look at everything that I can. And if even there's a slight interest, I stop and have a conversation. And I
Sure.
find that I have a show buddy. My business partner at Wi Fi Stand is out here with me. This is our Wi Fi Stand annual trip.
Okay.
He comes out here with me and he stops at the stuff that I don't stop at. And like we found this haptic feedback device from Canada. These guys make this incredible haptic feedback system for
Hmm.
dentists and for surgeons and stuff. And I never would have stopped there. It's called Happily, and you put your
Yeah.
fingers on the thing and it feels like you're sawing, and then you move it to the side and it feels like there's a magnet, and it's like it's the most. It was so fascinating and so small. But I try and go back and forth on every aisle just to get a feel for what's going on at the show. And then I look at
Wow.
the news and the trade rags and stuff. And
Sure.
then for the last 2 days, usually that's when I go back and I say, okay, these are the themes that I saw. Who
Sure.
represented those themes the most, and where can I drill into those? And then I go back to those specific areas and drill down into why things are happening the way that they are here. So
Sure. Sure.
it's it takes a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know how many steps I did yesterday, but it is a significant amount of walking here.
Yeah. I mean, really anything in Vegas, it's easy to rack up those steps quite
Yeah.
quickly. I'm with you there.
And I
Agreed.
think the things I'm excited about right now, just on what I saw yesterday and then coming into the show, some of the themes from last year that have been carried over. The one
Yeah.
thing that I'm really, really interested in that I saw yesterday was the advances, the advancements in medical devices.
Yeah.
And And it's been really neat to see that industry, adapt and adopt technology. I think Withings had their had a new
Sure.
deal that, like, instead of a thermometer, it's not just a thermometer, but you can hold it to your chest and it can check your respiratory rates. You can hold it to
Wow.
your side and it'll check your heart rate, and then
Yeah.
you put your fingers on it and it'll run like a mini EKG, and then you press a button and it sends all of that to your physician. And
Yeah.
so for the same price as a regular digital thermometer, now you have 5 different things that you can do. Things
Yeah.
like that are
Wow.
exciting because
Well,
of
when
the
you
area
mentioned
that I live in. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, when you mentioned that haptic feedback and dental and that sawing thing, I mean, I have a million questions on that already. I mean, it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm
Happily go
assuming
look
that's
them
for
up.
like remote surgery where you're like
Yes.
kind of
Remote
robotic or
dentist.
remote, so you get that kind of
Remote
that feedback.
dentistry.
Hey, wow,
I mean,
that's crazy.
I get white coat anxiety whenever I walk into a dentist office, man. I mean, we already talked about it. I grew up on well water, so my teeth probably aren't in the best shape. But I go through that panic moment, and to think that
Yeah,
there's dentists out there that can use can do remote fillings and remote
yeah,
extractions and all that other stuff, and it's like, oh, there's no way.
wow,
Dude, what I played with yesterday, you can feel it was like this ball that looked like a web and it was supposed to
yeah,
be like plastic. You can feel every single detail in there. And I was like,
wow,
when you combine that with fully immersive VR
yeah,
and you think about putting yourself in that environment,
yep,
this is when you apply that to the world and you talk about third world countries and places that don't have access to, a
yeah,
dentist, and you say, you know what, we can set up some type of lab where they go in and there's lab technicians and a dentist can do that remotely. Those are the kinds of things I look at. That's the world changing stuff. I mean, the TVs are really cool. Don't get me
sure,
wrong. They have a TV
yep,
that sticks to a window that's got battery packs
yeah.
and zero wires. Like, that's awesome. But remote dentistry using haptic feedback is kind of a little bit more impactful to me.
It's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, you think about like the future and you're like, wow, that is somewhat of,
Yeah.
the telehealth, telemedicine, all that stuff. That is like the future. And
Yeah.
it's pretty neat. Yeah. So I know you had a cutoff here on time. I want to
I
be
do. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that.
respectful of that. Yeah. So there are some questions coming in about Wi-Fi 7. So I think tomorrow, we'll talk more about that.
That is
So,
perfect. That's a perfect segue because I haven't gone to that hall yet. I've gone to the
okay.
stuff that's on medicine and cars and things like that, but I
Sure.
haven't gone to the hall that's all the consumer electronics. I'm doing that as soon as I get off my next call.
Okay.
So I'll have a lot more information on that. I know there's a couple of
Great.
vendors here that are showing off their consumer products, so I'm keen to see
Yes.
what they have. But I'm also
Sure.
keen to see what the industry is doing, if any of these devices are moving over to Wi-Fi 7. And honestly,
Yeah.
from a Wi-Fi perspective, just because of MLO, I want to know how many people are going to adopt MLO. I
Yeah.
love the idea of MLO. So that's going to be
Yep.
my question to everybody. So,
Cool.
well, good. I do
Cool.
have to drop.
Yeah. Well, there's
I appreciate y'all having me on here. Here's the big teaser.
yeah.
We'll see
Thanks.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Tune in tomorrow. So again, Cisco Unplugged and Wireless Waves here. Drew Lentz, thanks for being out there live, and this is going to be a great, exciting episode tomorrow. So find us out on YouTube and subscribe, and
Yeah,
you'll get notified when we do go live tomorrow. So you can find
and
us at
do
youtube.com/@ Cisco Unplugged, or I'm sorry, at
yeah.
Get Unplugged, at Get Unplugged. Sorry. Go
And
ahead.
if
Go
there
ahead,
are
Drew.
questions, feel free to send them over Twitter. Feel free to send them over
There you
LinkedIn.
go.
If you have any
Yep.
questions, if you want to see anything, please, please,
Yeah.
please reach out to me, because if I've got some
Yep.
guidance out here, it helps. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
the Slido will be up too, so we'll monitor that too tomorrow. So thanks, Drew. Appreciate it, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Happy New Year, and until next time, stay connected and unplugged.